Hey guys, welcome to a new video. I wanted to go ahead and address in today's video my solution to this tier system and fee charge system that Redbubble is going to be doing here and rolling out pretty soon. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I want to address is probably the hundreds of comments of people saying that, we should leave Redbubble. And I don't think we should, okay? And I'm not sitting here saying that I support Redbubble in this decision. But what I am saying, and I got to take a deep breath for this, because what I am saying is we have to make the best move on the board. All right, shout out to the top G. Anyways, the point is we have to make the best move on the board. And just because people are taking advantage of us doesn't mean that we hurt ourselves in the process, okay? I've seen some people talk about they're going to delete their accounts. Deleting your account will not get Redbubble back. They're not going to say, sorry, we're going to do this to you. All right, no, we're not going to delete our account. Or, we're not going to charge you a fee just because you want to delete your account. They're not going to do that. And they're always going to have a plethora of designers. So instead of thinking about how they can take advantage of you, think about how you can benefit off of this system. And understandably so, people are angry. And I understand. But like I said, I want to help you guys make the best move on the board, because this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be sharing information that I wouldn't do myself. And I'm sharing with you guys what I'm doing myself and what I actually have been doing for a little while now. All right, so let me go ahead and share this, okay? And I'm going to use a whiteboard to kind of explain everything. Redbubble is going to essentially tax you, because that's what they're doing. It's taxation. They're going to charge more fees on you. And what happens is when you're focused as Redbubble being your top priority, so being your first uploading space, you essentially are molded by the results that Redbubble gives you. Meaning, if, let's just say I go out there and I create 40,000 designs on only Redbubble, and let's say out of these 40,000 designs, I make $20,000 a year. Okay, let's just say that's the case, $20,000 a year. And let's just say I live somewhere in, I don't know, somewhere where I can live off $20,000 a year. You guys list the different countries out there, but $20,000 a year. All right, if I live off my $20,000 a year, and let's just say I spend $18K out of these $20,000, I'm pretty much, relatively broke by the end of the year. I pretty much spent all my money. If that's the case, then there's a problem here, because I'm solely relying on Redbubble. So what do we have to do? Instead of allowing Redbubble to be our only platform, we need to diversify platforms. Okay, so think of all the platforms that you could sell on other than just Redbubble. You have Zazzle, you have Etsy, okay, you have TeePublic, you have Society6, which, by the way, is also charging a fee, but nonetheless, you have Society6, okay? And you have a few others. There's so many. There's so many different platforms. You have a platform called Imprint. You have Displate. You have, the list could go on and on and on. The point here is what I want you to take away is the platforms. That's the first thing you could do. But when you do this, you have to understand you're still fighting on the first dimension. Okay? And when I say dimension, I'm talking about the first world, right? And what I mean by the world is the first ecosystem. And the first ecosystem is the marketplace ecosystem. And the reason why a lot of people are drawn to marketplace ecosystems is because it decreases the amount of work they have to produce. But the whole reason you got into this mess is because you were searching for less work to do. Can we all agree on that, right? The only reason you got into Redbubble is because you believed that there's less work to do, right? And we could say the same for all the other platforms, Zazzle, Etsy, Society6. You believe that they're going to take off more than half of the load of work from you, right? And so, although this isn't justified, this is uncontrollable. We don't get a chance to control the outcomes here. We don't get to do that, unfortunately. So what's another solution? Well, the other solution is also moving into the second dimension. So what is the second dimension? The second dimension is moving into a print-on-demand website that you're creating yourself. Okay? Now you might think, how am I going to, on earth, create a print-on-demand website, myself? How is that going to happen? Well, That's what we're going to jump in and show you literally tomorrow's video. So tune in for tomorrow. And I'm going to show you from scratch how you can create a whole entire print-on-demand website from scratch using a common platform called Shopify. I'll actually leave a link in the description if you want to check it out early and get started early. But there's actually a way that you can get started with as low as like $5, which it's a certain tactic that I'll show you how to do on Shopify. So I really don't recommend you get started right away, but hey, it is what it is. You can always click on the link in the description, get started. Now, I'll kind of explain what Shopify is for the people who are scared, maybe overwhelmed, nervous, not sure what to do or what to think. All right. So let me go ahead and clear this first of all. When you create your own website, when you create your own property, you have more ownership. Okay. The truth is that with Shopify, you don't have 100% of the ownership. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Shopify uses a platform called Shopify Payments to process payments, right? Shopify Payments. And so what happens is Shopify has to review your website to see if they approve the payments. Now, most of the time, like 99% of the time, they will approve. So it's not something you have to worry about too much. Okay. But that is still an element that you cannot necessarily control. I want you to understand this is why this is the second dimension, okay? Second dimension of print on demand. And the reason why this is the second dimension is because there are still elements that you cannot control, but most of the elements that hurt you, you can control. So what are the things that you can control that could potentially hurt you? Well, what hurted you in the first dimension? It was the fees, right? Or AKA the lack of profit, or the profit that was taken from you, from under your feet by Redbubble or these other platforms. And by the way, guys, make no mistake, and this is my prediction, and I was proven true on my first prediction. My second prediction is that not only Redbubble and Society6 will begin charging fees, but all the other platforms along with them will follow the same suit. I think so, absolutely. So it's not a matter of if, in my opinion, my prediction, it's a matter of when. And once again, it's not something that we have to cry about and hurt ourselves emotionally over. We have to figure out what the best move on the board is. And like I said, the first immediate solution is diversifying, uploading on multiple platforms, okay? But the second dimension, having your own website, is we have to list out and we have to understand what can we control and what we cannot control. So Shopify Payments is one thing we cannot control. The second thing we cannot control is print quality necessarily. Now, this is what semi-controllable, okay? And the reason why I say this is semi-controllable is because you're going to have to take responsibility for the print quality even if you cannot control it. That's one of the duties of having a Shopify store, right? And what I mean by that is you're going to have a website or a Shopify store called, happyeastereggs.com. Whatever it's called. It doesn't really matter what it's called. You might have it called happydragon.com. It doesn't matter what the name is, website of the call. What the point is that a customer is going to go to happydragon.com, buy a hoodie, and if it looks like garbage, they're going to come to you. They're not coming to the print manufacturer. Which brings me to my next aspect is what you can control. You can control what print manufacturer you go with, okay? And something as a tip right now when I say this is you need to have a print manufacturer, and I've realized this the hard way, unfortunately, with selling thousands and $1,000 worth of product. I mean, just the other day, I showed a video of me running a Pinterest ad that generated over $39K in 3 weeks, and that's sales, okay? Some manufacturers were good, some manufacturers were bad. It's just something we have to deal with. The point is that print on demand, right? You have to choose the good print on manufacturer. 2 criteria make a good print manufacturer. The first thing is mock-ups. Believe it or not, mock-ups are crucial. And the reason why is because there are certain products that are specific to them, okay? So good mock-ups is a deal killer. If you do not have good mock-ups as a good manufacturer, you could be the best manufacturer in the world. I cannot sell those products because I will not be able to accurately depict to the consumer what they are getting. So good mock-ups is crucial. The second thing is good quality. right? So what I mean by quality is, does this brand have a good track record? Do they have a track record of printing products that are safe? That when I say safe, I mean it's safe enough to send to a customer. It's essentially as advertised. That's one thing. The third thing is price. Now, price is the least on my list because these two matter more. Mockups help me get sales. And the reason why I say that is because, once again, if I can't show my customer properly how the item is supposed to look, and believe it or not, guys, even in 2023, there's a lot of these print-on-demand manufacturers that really screw up when it comes down to, the mockups. They really, really do. It's a shame. But if I can't present the product properly to my customer, I'm not going to be able to make the sale. Even if I join a mockup website, there are certain products that cannot be accounted for. I'll give you an example. There's a hooded blanket type product, a hooded blanket, okay? Manufacturer 1 has hooded blankets for the price of like $59 that I have to pay for plus shipping, okay? So the least I could get away with selling this thing is going to be like $89 to be able to make any kind of profit, okay? Or any kind of notable profit, okay? The second thing is another manufacturer who sells it for like $12.99, but their mock-ups are garbage. They're trash, and unfortunately, there's nothing I could do. I can't use that $12.99 manufacturer, even if their factories come out of the exact same place, because the mock-ups make the difference. Now, you might say, well, can't you take the mock-ups from this company and do that? I don't have time to do all that. Maybe you could if you find a way to jury-rig it, but I don't have time. I'm busy working on so many different businesses at once, and I'm sure you guys don't have the same time either. The quality is important because you don't want customers complaining, asking for a refund, and you also want customers to be return customers. You want people to come back and order from you again. So their experience in quality, shipping time, all these kind of things have to be a positive experience. And price, of course, matters because you need to take home a profit. And the profit has to be big enough for you to be able to advertise, to market, to promote, and take some money home at the end of the day. We're all doing this to make some money, all right? So that's kind of another thing with the print on demand, okay? Now, with Shopify, let's go, and these are kind of like the cons, I would say. These are the drawbacks. These are the things you have to watch out for. Let's talk about the pros. The pros of this is obvious. You get to make more money, all right? I'm going to put some dollar signs here to represent that. You get to make more money because you get to control the outcome. You also have to, because you get to make more money, you have to be responsible for your own marketing. That's actually a drawback. Now, the reason why I say this is a drawback for some people is because a lot of people are not going to be willing to put in the energy, the effort to learn how to do this. That's just point blank, period. For those people who are not going to be able to do that, you're gonna have only one saving grace, only one option, and that's referred to as SEO. Okay? SEO is going to be the only thing that saves you. And SEO does take time. I've been telling you guys this in my other channel about SEO and blogging and things like that. That takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It could take months for you to get some traffic. So the point here is you're going to have to make a sacrifice. You're going to have to understand that if you want to make money consistently and quickly, you have to learn how to advertise. You have to, okay? If you don't have that money to advertise, nor do you want to, then in that case, you're going to have to learn how to do SEO. And SEO is search engine optimization. It's essentially working your website in a way to where it shows up on Google's first page. Because let's face it, nobody ever scrolls down past the first page. Nobody does that anymore. This is 2023. The point here is you're going to have to get to the first page of Google. Now, maybe we'll create videos on that in the future. I've created videos in the past on that. I have a whole different channel on that. But the point is that SEO is that long-term growth. And make no mistake, SEO is very, very powerful if you know what you're doing. Once again, it's all about know-how. In this business with Shopify, it's not about learning how to create the store. It's learning about how to do the marketing. That's the most crucial thing. And we're going to share that here on this YouTube channel, especially with the advertising. Now, something that I do want to say is with advertising breaks all the rules. Breaks all the rules. You can get rich quick with advertising. However, I am not sitting here promoting a get rich quick scheme. Because it's not. The amount of effort it takes to learn how to create a winning ad campaign is monumental. It takes a lot of effort. So yeah, there are people out there who know what they're doing with advertising, can create an ad, and then the next day they make an extra $5,000 a day. There are people who do that. I'm not sitting here saying that you're going to do that. I'm not sitting here guaranteeing that you're going to do that, but that is a possibility, okay? Very rare possibility, might I add, but it's possible if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you might get lucky here and there, but it's not going to be something that's long-term. That's why advertising is one of those things where people say it's a gamble. It's not a gamble. It's only a gamble if you don't know what you're doing, which once again, we'll go over in the videos, in the tutorials, all these kind of things, all right? Now, another pro, other than controlling the amount of money you make, is you get direct access to the customer base. When was the last time that Redbubble, Zazzle, whoever, told you the email of that customer? I want you guys to understand something. If you're in the business of running your own business, making your own money, you have to understand the power of emails. Emails are crucially important because they give you direct access to your consumers. Redbubble doesn't do that for you. Zazzle doesn't do that for you. Etsy doesn't even do that for you. Etsy, you can make it happen by emailing people or messaging them through the messenger, figuring out how to get their emails, etc. But that's not the main business model for Etsy. That's not ideal. Okay? The point is, and it's really not practical. If you're making $500, $600, $1,000 a day on Etsy, it's really not practical to collect all people's emails. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is that with your emails, they can create reoccurring income. How is that the case? Well, every time you have a new drop, every time you offer new products, that happens. Okay? Now, something that I might add is all of these together weigh the pros and the cons, right, in a bird's eye view of creating your own website. And in tomorrow's video, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, once again, I want to be clear with everything that I said. The solution is not to delete your Redbubble account. Do not do that, please. Because what you're doing here is you're only hurting yourself. That's the only person you're hurting. Redbubble is going to move on. They're going to make a lot of money. They're going to take a lot of money. That's the only person you're hurting. If you make $20 a month normally on Redbubble, and now you're going to all of a sudden make $10 a month, if you delete your account completely, guess how much you're making now? $0 a month. And trust me, Redbubble is not going to cry about you. They're not even going to notice you. And I don't say that out of hatred or anger or anything like that. I'm just saying the reality, the facts. Nobody's going to come save you from Redbubble. Nobody's going to come apologize. This is a company where they're just steamrolling through. And you have to understand that this is the business world for a lot of people. The business world is they put the money first. And unfortunately, this is creating for them short-term income, but it's creating long-term negative effects that could potentially jeopardize their success over a long period of time. However, what I will say is, if you delete your Redbubble store, you're making an unwise decision that is not directly benefiting you. You have to make the best move on the board. And with a leveled mind and with a grounded approach, you can move into an area of success. But you're not going to be able to do that from an emotional standpoint. And the emotional standpoint of people deleting their stores, I understand it. I understand the emotional standpoint, but it's not logical. It's not logical to delete something or remove something that has been producing you income, regardless of how small it is. Regardless. And if you put any effort whatsoever into your Redbubble store, please do not delete it. If you uploaded a single design, please do not delete it. Once again, you should not remove something that you've already spent time doing. Do not do that, please. I beg of you. Take the income that Redbubble gives you and funnel it into your new ventures. Even if it's small, even if it's $5 a month, I don't care how much you're making. The point is don't remove work that you've worked hard for. And I want you to get into the habit of working hard for something and keep pushing through to achieve the maximum potential that you can achieve. You have to start treating yourself as essentially like a soldier in battle. You've already crossed the line. You cannot go back. You have to keep moving forward. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm telling you, with print on demand, this has been a business for many people that they have started and they have failed. And they have started and they have failed. And they have started and they have moved on and failed. I'm telling you, do not delete your work. That is essentially a failure. Do not do that. Keep your store. keep allowing it to produce income, but don't let it be your priority. You have to look at all the platforms, all your income as the priority, not one source. That is the important part. And I understand where the frustration comes, but I also want you to understand that the frustration would have never existed if you had multiple sources of income. And I think we can all agree on that. If you had 10, 20 sources of income from print on demand, and people might say 20 sources of income, what the hell are you talking about? That's a lot. No, it's possible. Trust me, it's possible. I'm speaking from experience. You can absolutely do it. However, you have to understand that the reason why you have this anger towards them, which by the way is justified, I'm not blaming you for it, but the reason why you have this anger is because that might be your only source of income. And it might be your only significant source of income. Who knows? The point is that yes, companies are greedy. Yes, this company will be greedy and might even take more money of you in the future. But the point is with a level mind, we can move forward into success. And part of that is coming up with a game plan. And for me, this is not only my game plan, but this is what I have been doing. And also, some of you might ask me, well, why don't you delete your stores? Well, because I feel the exact same way of everything that I just said. I produce a significant amount of income on Redbubble, not in terms of my own income, but overall. And I pay people overseas through that income to work for me. And I'm not going to go ahead and remove that source because of the way that I feel. I want to keep that very important. And this is not a dig at anyone. This is not an attack at anyone. But I'm just telling you that it's not wise to do something that demolishes all the hard work you've done. And I understand it might feel that you have your hard work taken away from you because of what Redbubble is doing here, but not entirely. You still have your mind, you still have your consciousness, and you still have the energy, the effort, and the willpower to move on and create more. And that's at the end of the day the only thing we can do, guys. We can only keep moving on and create more in our lives as opposed to sit and wait and cry about it, because at the end of the day, nobody's coming to save us, and we got to save ourselves. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video where we begin this website building process. See you soon. Peace out. Bye.